Chapter 6, Percents. This is 6.1, Percents, Decimals, and Fractions. Upon a review of the household budget graph provided above, we could take any piece of portion of this survey and dissect that percentage. For example, which was 15%, food, which was 15%, that's this piece here, this piece, is the same as 15 over 100 or 0 and 15/100ths. A meaning of percent. Percent means per hundred. Per hundred. Writing a number as a percent is a way of comparing the number to 100. Write each percent as a fraction with a denominator of 100. This is going to show it as per hundred. So this would be 33 per 100. If it has a 6%, it would be 6 per 100. If you have 160%, it's 160 per 100. If it has a percent sign, like this, you should write it over 100. Changing percents to decimals. Percent to decimal, we divide by 100. So we take that fraction and we divide it by 100, or move the decimal to the left 2 times. So 35.2 divided by 100, or you could say 35 2/10 divided by 100. Although you could put 100 on the outside of a division problem and 35.2 on the inside, what you're going to end up finding is that your answer here with all the work is much easier done if you just take the decimal, and remember when you divide, you move the decimal to the left 2 times, which means your answer would be 0.352. This is a lot easier than trying to figure out 100 goes into 352 3 times. 3 times 100 is 300. Subtract, bring down the 52 and a 0. 100 goes into 520. 5 times. 5 times 100 is 500. Subtract and you get 20. Bring down another 0. 100 goes into 200 2 times. Look at that answer. 0.352. 0.352. So you wouldn't have to do the long division if you can remember that when you divide, you move to the left. Write each percent as a decimal. We have 37 decimal point is where this would be, percent. Move your decimal to the left 2 times. I get 0.37. You should try the rest on your own. 68%. The decimal point would be here, 1, 2. So you have 0.68. 120, that means your decimal is right here at the end. 1, 2, this would be 1.20. Or I would say 1.2. Last but not least, 0.8. Move your decimal because it's already here. 1, 2. This one you'll have to fill in a 0. So you would have decimal point 008, and you should put one in the front as well. Suppose a cortisone cream is 0.5% hydrocortisone. Write this number as a decimal. 0.5, move your decimal 1, 2, and now you have your decimal. So you have 0.005. Again, when in doubt, you're really doing 0.5 divide by 100 in your calculator. Changing decimals to percents. A decimal 2%, we multiply by 100. We multiply. Or we move the decimal to the right 2 times. So when you are doing decimal 2%, we multiply, and we're going to move that decimal to the right 2 times. So 0.42, no percent sign, we want to convert it to percent. We move it towards where the sign will go, 1, 2, and that's where the sign is going to go. So we end up with 42%. Again, that's the same as doing 0.42 times 100 in the calculator or by longhand. Let's write each decimal as a percent. I'm going to do the first one and give you a chance to practice the rest on your own. We have 0.27, so 0.27, you're moving it to the right. Remember, this is where the percent sign is, so you would move it that way. So 1, 2, and I get 27%. Try the rest on your own. On B, I move 4.89, 2 times to the right, and I get 489%. 0.5, 1, 2, that means I have 50%. 0.09, 1, 2, that means I have 9%. The pie chart shows who pays for college expenses. Change each percent into a fraction. So we're going to start with our student income at 16%. I'm going to write that here. And we know that that would be 16 per 100. We can simplify that by dividing by 4. And when I do, I get 4 over 25. Let's look at 23%, the grants and scholarships. That would be 23 over 100. And that is as simplified as it gets. We are going to do 24%, or 24 per 100. We can simplify that by, again, dividing by 4. And when I do, I'm going to get 6 over 25. The last one is 37%. And that would be 37 over 100. And that's as simplified as it gets. Let's try a couple more. Change 4.5% into a fraction in lowest terms. Try that one on your own. Oh, I skipped one. No, I didn't. Okay, try this one. Here we go. 4.5%. This one, as a fraction in lowest terms. What do you think when you see this? Did you see, oh, I could divide by 5? You were right. But the problem is we can't have a decimal in a fraction. So we need to move that decimal one time. Do you remember what we had to do for that? We had to multiply by 10. Whatever I do to the top, I need to do to the bottom. So I'm going to get 45 over 1,000. Now we can divide by 5. And when I do, I get 45 divided by 5 is 9. And 1,000 divided by 5 is 200. In my head, I would think 10 divided by 5 is 2, and then remaining zeros carries over. And that's my answer. You cannot leave a decimal in a fraction. You can't do that. Let's look at the next one. There's two ways to do the next one. I'm going to do 32.5% as a decimal. I'm going to move my decimal one time, which means I'm going to multiply by 10. When I do, I get 325 all over 1,000. I'm then going to simplify by dividing by probably 25. And when I do, I'm going to get 13 over 40. The next way you could do it is not the as easy way, but you could do 32.5 over 100. You could convert your 32.5 by doing 2 times 32, which is 64, plus 1 is 65, over 2 divided by 100. Then you could write your division problem. 65 divided by 2 divided by 100, which would be 100 over 1. You would do keep, flip, change, and you would have 65 over 2 times 1 over 100. Then, when you multiply and simplify, I would multiply across. I would get 65 over 200, and then I would divide. I would divide by probably 5 of some kind. Probably 5, and you get 13 over 40. And that's as simplified as it gets. Changing fractions into percents. When you change a fraction to a percent, you're going to convert your fraction to a decimal and then multiply by 100 or move the decimal 2 times to the right and add a percent sign. So suppose the price of your bookstore pays you for the textbook is 7/10 of the price. You pay for the textbook, write 7/10 as a percent. Okay, so 7/10, you're going to have 7/10, which means you're going to do 7 divide by 10 in the calculator. That's going to give you 0.7. You're going to multiply by 100 or move your decimal to the right 2 times. And that would give you 70%. So first step, divide Second step, multiply. Let's look at 3/8. 3/8 means 3 divided by 8. Make sure it looks just like that in the calculator. Then you should get 0.375. We now multiply by 100, so I move my decimal 2 times to the right, and I get my answer 37.5%. Try the next two on your own, at least number 12. If you were going to do 13, you might want to change it to a decimal first. So when I look at it, I have 5/12. 5 divided by 12. 5 divided by 12 is going to give me 0.416 repeating. So this 6 is going to go 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 all the way down. So we need that sign. We're then going to multiply by 100. When we multiply by 100, the decimal moves 2 times. And so we get 41.6 repeating %. On number 13, you could be doing 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 to get 5 divided by 2, so you have that. Or you could remind yourself of what a half is, and that's 5.5, so you have 2.5. When I multiply by 100, move the decimal 2 times, and I get 250%. And that is 6.1 percents, decimals, and fractions.